Hi everyone, my name is Madison Brady. I'm a Cal Poly San Luis Obispo dietetic intern. Today we're switching it up a little bit on the blog and we're trying out a vlog instead. Hopefully you guys like it. So today I'll be talking about the 5 things I've learned during the internship about being a dietetics professional. I'll also be weaving in things here and there about tips and tricks for you future interns. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I have learned about being a dietetics professional, and dietitians who are watching this, don't come at me. I have my coffee cup here because I'm about to spill a little tea, okay? First thing I've learned is that dietitians do not have good work-life balance. And like I said, don't get mad. I'm not trying to be offensive. This is just some things that I have noticed in my rotations. One of my interns in my program, she has worked with a dietitian. She gets there at 4 in the morning, she goes home at 8 at night, and that is just crazy. So that is the first thing that I have learned. And that is something that I don't picture myself doing in the future. I want to make sure that I really prioritize self-care and my family and things like that. This isn't to say that we're not going to have some late days every once in a while. One of the preceptors that I had the pleasure of working with at one of the hospitals, she was a food service director at the hospital, and she did have to put in long days every once in a while, but overall she was there at 7 and she left at 4 every day, and made sure that was a priority for her, that she was out by 4 at the latest. And that's not to say that she didn't stay when she needed to, and that's not to say that in the future I'll prioritize leaving early over getting the work done. And I think that's an important disclaimer to make as well with this tip. But I do think that there comes a point where you need to go home, frankly. Just saying. There's a balance. So how I like to kind of separate my work and life in the internship is I like to go outside a lot. I hang out with my roommates who happen to be interns in this program as well. I hang out with my roommate's dog who really enjoys being outdoors, and she's adorable. I just really like to make sure that I'm dedicating the time that I need to relieve stress and get your mind off of work, because I think if we spend too much time thinking about work, I think this can lead to a lot of stressors and can put a lot of tension in your life that you just don't need. So just make sure you're dedicating that time to relieving stress however you like to do that. When I move into the dietetics profession, I think I'm definitely going to continue to dedicate that time. I want to make sure that I leave at a decent time from work, and I know that's easier said than done, but I think for peace of mind and for stress relief, I think that's really important. I also think that I'll keep being outdoors. Hopefully I'll be able to stay in the Central Coast, cross my fingers, and be able to really enjoy what the Central Coast has to offer, and making sure that I'm doing something else besides working. And especially in the pandemic, I think it's really easy to get caught up in working all day, especially when my bedroom is my office. This desk that I'm filming at right now is my office during the day, so it's important to put away the work and dedicate time to the things that you enjoy. Hopefully that was a kind of a good tip for you guys in the internship and everyone going into the dietetics profession. And with that, we'll move on. My next tip number 2, is how to dress professionally and how I've personally learned to dress professionally throughout my dietetic internship. Just a disclaimer, these are my opinions and my opinions only, so if you feel like they don't align with your style, that's totally fine. I also wanted to mention that not only is it important to be professional when you dress for your dietetic internship, but it's also important to be your authentic self, as we like to say at the Cal Poly DI. So if these tips don't feel like your personal style, that's totally fine. And with that, let's jump into some of my favorite outfits. So I'm going to mention, first I'm going to talk about some shirts, and then we're going to move on to shoes, because I think I've seen a lot of questions about shoes, especially in the internship and what do dietitians wear and things like that. So I'm going to briefly mention shoes. But first we're going to talk about shirts. So this is a shirt that I wear probably all the time. I got it from Maurice's. It is a long sleeve, flowy, kind of chiffon-like shirt. It's super professional. I've worn it to my community rotations. I've worn it to clinical. I've worn it basically every single rotation that I've had, and I've had a lot of rotations at this point. I also like to highlight this. I'm drawing a blank on what this is called. I'll just call it a sweater. This little sweater that I bought also from Maurice's. I did want to mention that, at least for me, I get really chilly during my rotation, so I like to make sure that I can layer things. And this is the type of shirt that you can layer with anything. You could do a black cardigan. There's the word. You do a black cardigan. This is an olive green cardigan, but you can do a lot of different combinations with this. So that's kind of one thing that I will mention. Pick staple pieces in your wardrobe that you can really use in combination with different things. So this is one of the combinations that is probably one of my favorite. I like to pair this with black pants. I'm pairing it with gray pants and things like that. So this is a pair of shoes that I wanted to highlight just really briefly. These are Dr. Scholl's brand. They look like Danskos. They're not. They're much cheaper than Danskos. I will say that you do not need to buy Danskos or Rothy's or any fancy pairs of shoes to do your rotations or to be a successful dietitian. These do have some anti-slip on the bottom, so it's really important for your food service rotation that you do have a pair of anti-slip shoes. These just happen to be a clog style. You don't necessarily have to have a clog style for food service shoes. Just make sure they do have that anti-slip on the bottom. But yeah, I get a lot of questions about what type of shoes to wear. You do not need to wear anything fancy. I also have a pair of flats that I wear every day besides these ones, and I literally got them from Marshall's for like 15 bucks. So you do not need to buy fancy shoes in order to be successful. This would be a perfect outfit for clinical. It features a modern sweatshirt and some striped pants and some suede flats, which are super comfy. The necklace would be optional. This would be a great outfit for a community rotation. It's a more plain style t-shirt, a paper bag style pant, and the same suede shoes. This outfit would be a great outfit to layer with a sweater. You could also include jewelry if that is your style. This is a great outfit that you could either wear to a community rotation or a clinical rotation. It features the layered look, as I mentioned in my video earlier. It features a cotton tank top with a sweater over it, and you could either pair this with a bootleg pant or a straight leg pant. This also features the flats that I mentioned earlier in my video. I also wanted to include a more winter style outfit for those of you working in a colder state. This is a olive color knit sweater paired with boot cut pants, although you could also pair these with a straight cut pant and then the same suede flats that we saw earlier. Hopefully that gave you a better sense of what to wear, not only in the internship, but also as a future dietetics professional. And with that, we'll move on to number 3. This is the third thing that I have learned about the dietetics profession, and it is probably one of my favorites. I have learned that, drum roll please, bing! There are a lot more opportunities for you out there besides just the clinical, community, or food service positions. And I can speak from experience. Through my internship, I have gotten to work with corporate wellness dietitians, doing lunch and learns and preparing nutrition-focused presentations for companies, and right now I am working with a private practice dietitian doing nutrition communication, nutrition marketing. I've been doing blog posts for her and website posts, so it's really exciting. And nowadays, in the age of social media, you can market yourself however you want, and you can really find your niche of what you want to do. I'm so excited. I watched a webinar today about it, so I am really pumped about it. The capacity for a dietitian is whatever you want to make it. So if you think about it, everyone eats food, everyone has a relationship with food, so everyone in some capacity has a need for a dietitian. You can be whatever you want to be. I'm just here to inspire you, y'all. The next thing that I have learned, number 4, thanks guys for hanging in there, is that not every position in dietetics requires you to do counseling, which in my DPD, we did a lot of counseling. We did a lot of counseling practice. I learned like a lot of MI principles, and I was a little bit disheartened because counseling, to be honest, is not my favorite thing to do in the dietetics world. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this. I didn't go into dietetics to counsel. I was more interested in like the science behind how different nutrients affect the body. So when I started to learn about counseling, I was a little bit disheartened. As I moved into my internship, and this is going to help me in my future career as well, but as I moved into my internship, I realized as I was going through my rotations that a lot of dietetics professionals and a lot of dietetic positions out there don't require you to do counseling, which was super interesting to me. And like I said, I wish I had learned this sooner because I think I would have been a lot more excited to move into the internship. But I can give you guys some examples. I'm sure we all know that food service management does not require you to counsel patients because you're not actually seeing patients. Food service management, you're dealing with a lot of HR stuff, so you're not counseling patients at all. You're not seeing patients at all. You're dealing with a lot of the food service staff. So I was really drawn to that once I started doing my food service rotation. Right now I'm doing a nutrition marketing rotation that doesn't require counseling either. Although my preceptor, who is a dietitian, she does a lot of counseling and she does run a private practice. So that does to some extent require counseling, but my role is I'm doing a lot of nutrition marketing and a lot of like magazine submissions. So there are opportunities for you outside of just the counseling realm, like having a position in a community setting where you're counseling individuals. So that's just not only a tip for you in future interns, but also just for you guys as a whole as you move into the dietetics field. Just know that if you don't like to do counseling, that doesn't mean that there's not a place for you in the dietetics community. Alright, the 5th thing I have learned about the dietetics profession is that dietitians are so passionate about their jobs. Dietitians are such hard workers. Every single preceptor that I have had have been super positive about their job. They've been so helpful and so caring about me as a person. They are so passionate about their positions, and that's maybe a little bit of a reason why they have such a hard time balancing work and life, is because they love their job so much. And that is such a good thing for me to see, and I'm so excited to finish up my rotations and become a dietetics professional because I know that I'm going to be surrounded by other dietitians who are going to take their job so seriously and really put in their best effort. If you're going to take away one thing from this video, I hope it's this, because just know that if you are going into the dietetics profession, you're going to be surrounded by people who also love their job and are willing to help you, which I think is great. So, alright, you guys made it through this video, and that was the 5 things that I have learned about being a dietetics professional. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Did you like this video? Do you want to see more of these videos? Do you think Cal Poly Slow DI should be putting out more of these vlogs? Please tell us down below what you think. With that being said, guys, I'm going to go. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and with that, bye-bye!